the boys are down psychologically with what happened in Enugu. That's how we start the show on here, Vote FM Sports here on Vote 104.3 FM. We're live on Facebook at Vote 104.3 FM, and we're also on YouTube at Vote 104.3. Sorry, at Vote FM Sports. Sorry about that. We're live on YouTube at Vote FM Sports, and we have interesting news coming to you from NPFL and the NNL so far. And the Minister of Sports is about to meet with the NFF to discuss the future of FInidi GEorge, I don't know, and other issues happening around the Super Eagles team and the Super Falcons and all of them, because we're preparing for the World Cup qualifiers. In the World Cup qualifiers, we're preparing for the Olympics in Paris and all of that. I'm not alone in the studio. I have my guys in the studio to do analysis to all of this. Good morning, John.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Godwin. You know, you said this the other day that FInidi, you don't have that time to give him now. It feels like this meeting is going to mount more pressure on him to get the next result.
Yes, exactly. Good morning, guys. If you look at that meeting, Nigeria is fourth on the table. We are way off where we're supposed to be. I know that he is the first time probably coaching a national team, and normally they should give him more time. But this is just his 2 games he has coached with the Super Eagles, but the results are not yet coming. I don't know what the meeting is going to be like, but I think they'll probably give you one more game. He has one more game to save his career, in his national team career. If not,
even if he doesn't win the game, at least they should see a performance on the pitch. I believe giving performance.
Performance,
yes.
No,
we are way past the point of performance
no, we are not doing
right
performance
now, because it's we said this a couple of days back. No doubt the timing is off. No doubt it's coming in when we need a result ASAP, as soon as possible. No doubt that there are a lot of odds that are stacked against him, but performance on his own is not enough. We are at the point where we need points on the board, where we need to compete, where we need to get things moving in our direction. So a performance against the next opponent is not what we are looking for. What we are looking for is
Results.
3 points.
Results.
3 points to put on the board to edge us closer to the top opponents in the group, talking about the likes of Lesotho, Rwanda, and South Africa. So we need to, it is what it is. So, but we need to get the points on the board.
Okay,
basically.
now you're talking about the points on the board. I think that meeting will not be all about FInidi. There is still cases of the Paris 2024, the Olympic Games, which we have players representing. We'll be representing at least 30 different sports in the Olympics. So this meeting could be a long range of topics.
But the highlight has to be FInidi, definitely.
Wow,
it's FInidi. We need. I don't know why they appointed FInidi to be a Nigerian coach, but probably they're expecting what he did with Enyimba. He did well with Enyimba.
Yes.
So, and everybody was saying, it's time to give a local coach the chance to coach the Super Eagles. Now we are here. Now everybody might not say, it's not saying, are we regretting taking up a local coach, or should have brought in a foreign coach? Even though financially too, bringing a foreign coach can cost you more. The local coach is easy. It's easy for you to pay a local coach. Do you understand? So, but we are past where we are now talking about performance. We just need the 3 points.
We talked about Jose Pesero was there before now. Garnasro was there before now, and these coaches didn't get the results we expected.
But
they qualified. They qualified. And they took us to the national.
No. What's it called? What's his name? Garnasro, the new Benin Republic coach, was there before Pesero came in and did not qualify for the World Cup.
He didn't qualify.
Now they sacked him. They brought in Pesero, who took us to the AFCON's finals, and yet didn't get the trophy. This is still on the not meeting target, because the topic was the discussion was get us the trophy if possible.
But the point you're trying to make doesn't help us as a country. It doesn't move our football forward. It doesn't move the football forward, because at the end of the day, you need to get those points, and we are here in this competition to qualify for the World Cup, to qualify for big international competitions going on in the globe. So, I know the point you're trying to make, but it doesn't help us. It doesn't move Nigerian football forward.
We are talking about the finance of the country right now. Bringing in a foreign coach would cost you more. Now, the media advocated for a homegrown talent who has represented the badge in all levels. And you see FInidi is one of those players. He played for the under-20s during his time. He played for the Olympics. He played for the national team, and they went to AFCONs. They won. He was one of the winning teams of AFCON. and perhaps represented Nigeria in the World Cups. Now we had the likes of Emmanuel Amunike as well, who was also in contention for that job. Now they gave it to Finidi because they saw his track record at Enyimba. Now his track record at Enyimba was very, very stellar. It was fantastic. Now you bring this man in and you don't want to give him enough time. At least you saw the likes of Gerard was given at least 3 months, and he played his first 4 games. So there was no result. If you go back to record, there was no result in the first 4 games. Now you're telling me after 2 games, sacking Finidi will be a possibility.
No, I'm not saying they should sack him, but we need results.
Okay.
Do you understand? We need results. If you see the team we are playing, apart from South Africa, other teams there we should be winning those games. At least you shouldn't even have lost to Benin.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There are some games you don't lose.
You know.
See, that's the problem. Okay, and if you talk about the performer is not like wow performer. It's not like you have played them from beginning to end and they just score 1 or 2 goals and they suddenly won. It was almost a 50-50 game. So I'm not seeing the performance. We are not seeing the result. One have to come, and what we need now is just the result. Find a way to get 3 points in the next game. I think the next game is in June or July. Find a way to just win the next game and see. But I don't think they will sack him. Just 2 games is too little for you to give a coach and sack a coach. It's too short.
When they're not Chelsea. Okay, now talking about the home front now, we have the organizers have rescheduled the match day 37 for the NPFL. And what happened yesterday is what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about the next match day 37. Match day 36 was just concluded yesterday night. And Enyimba fell short in Ibadan. Rangers fell short in Ibadan. And Enyimba, for some reasons, I keep asking myself, where did these coaches generate excuses from? Finidi the other day after losing to Benin Republic said something like, there is no special formula for winning games. That's an excuse. You don't know where now the coach of Enyimba is saying they were down psychologically after the incident in Enugu. Who started the incident? Your players actually started it. So if they know they can't handle the pressure psychologically, why would they start something they couldn't finish? If it's a song, I wouldn't want to sing that song, but Joe, you have something to say about it.
For me, when we talk about Finidi, I'm always triggered one way or another because of the points on the table, obviously. But for me, it's more about the comments he makes after key games, the comments he makes to the media, both officially and unofficially. They give us like a window through the mentality behind how he's coaching our players, and it's something that doesn't sit right with me. How can you tell me that there's no special formula, this one, that one, if we get a point? All those types of stuff is not what we should be expecting from somebody that is handling the reins of the Super Eagles. We are expecting somebody that should, how you get, no matter how loose you want to be with the media, no matter how you want to handle the press, you have to guard the image of the team in the way you speak about the team. So that's one thing I do not like about him saying. But obviously, he is getting some stick off Pesero's lapses here and there, and he hasn't broken off from that mold because he's still playing the way the man set the team up to play. He's not bringing in anything new into the side that is his, and we need to see that identity coming from him in how they play. Now let's talk about that NPFL match, okay? Enugu Rangers went to Ibadan and they considered an early goal in the 12th minute thanks to what's his name now, Piagbara or something. I don't want to bite my tongue, okay? So that was a very big loss, okay? In the sense that it opened up an opportunity for a Remo Stars that were comfortably sitting third to press into second now, given the fact that Enyimba were held 1-1 in their match, okay, so by Bayelsa United. So it opens up a possibility now. They are now how many points behind now?
2 points behind.
Yeah, they are 2 points behind, and it's looking more dicey, okay? And let's not forget that there are 2 games to go, which means 6 possible points up on the board. Enugu Rangers have to be desperate for a win in the next game at home and need to pray for fortune to favor them by having Remo Stars or Enyimba drop more points so that you could see the title.
Now, the intro I made, you saw what I said about psychology affecting the players. That's talking about the FInidi GEorge protege, the current coach of Enyimba. After the incident in Enugu, they went to their home and they couldn't beat a Bayelsa United side.
For me, psychology should not be part of it because for me, psychology shouldn't be part of it. You shouldn't be blaming psychology. You came to Enugu, you brought your fans here, you played a good game. No doubt. it went dirty. It wasn't supposed to go dirty. Now, how do you pick your players up from that loss? Because you've lost that game based on the fact that you broke a certain rule in the NPFL, and you're going back home to play your next match against what's their name now, Bayelsa United. Psychology should be the least of their problem. They drew that match down to tactical issues which Rangers exposed. If you watch how they played against Rangers, the goalkeeper had a hard time controlling his back line in the second half. You see the right back moving forward, there's space on that part. That connectivity in the defense is an issue. Okay, and if you look at how they consider that goal, is another talking point altogether. So for me, psychology is not it. Okay, let's say maybe you traveled into Enugu, how many hours, and you went back home, you got a couple of days rest, and you got a match in. Psychology wasn't the reason why they drew.
What you have to understand, all these coaches, they have excuse. If you lose a game, you have an excuse.
Okay.
If you look at all the coaches, you barely see a coach that when they lose a game, they come out and take responsibility. They are just few coaches. So everybody will blame it on something. So he is blaming on psychology. Good for him. That is business. It's good. It's good thing for
the players, not throwing them under the bus.
It's even good for Rangers International. So we can now be looking at only
Remo Stars.
So
Yeah.
we are not talking about Enyimba again because they are going away and Rangers playing at home. Do you understand? So, but if you look at that game against Rangers, I saw a comment about that. In the first half or in the second half, they got a penalty that wasn't given against Rangers. They got it. So you need to talk about the officiating of NPFL. Just you go away, you hardly get something like that. You hardly get results. You hardly get. For example, look at this.
But for me, looking at that match in retrospect now, you saw Rangers create more opportunities. You saw them pressure so for me,
I was looking at a draw. I was saying yesterday I predicted a draw because it's always hard to go away in NPFL and get a result. I don't know why. So look at the whole table. Rangers have lost 10 games and they are top of the league. 10. Then they have lost 30 points. I'm not talking about the draws.
Yeah.
They have lost 30 points and they are top of the league. There's something wrong with. I can't tell you. You cannot be losing 10 games and be top of the league. It's somehow.
If you even look at the total haul of points on the league
it's 64.
table, it tells you
so
that
somebody will win the league. Somebody
points, somebody can win 20 games or 15 games and draw 10, and you're champion. So I get what you're saying.
If you are looking
that needs to be looked into.
If you are looking at that Rangers game now needs to win their game at the Cathedral, and the coach has done a fantastic job. Fidelis have done a fantastic job, but the problem with he has a history of coming second. When he coached the MFM, he finished second, and he moved to Plateau United. He finished second. This is his third time now. He's first position.
This is the coach that actually left Enugu before.
Yes,
he was actually in Enugu coaching, and he had issues with the board, and he left. Went to MFM and took MFM from about 10 to second. Now this was an MFM that was struggling with finance.
Yes. Yeah.
Now from there he moved to Plateau and he brought them from 15th, I think, from 15th to second again. And you see that this coach is somebody that if you give him the right squad, the right finance, the right players, he will get you trophies.
So I'm thinking now, is this
finish second
again? No, this second that is following him everywhere. So, but he has an opportunity to win the last game.
I think it's only hard on Rangers basically because in the officiating of the NPFL, sorry to say this, away sides have less power when it comes to getting decisions going their way. It remains to be proven though. But the way they considered that goal gave up any shot of coming away with a win, because if you go, the thing in the NPFL is if you go away, you don't concede a goal, you are more likely to come away with a point rather than a loss.
It's sad,
but then,
somehow they will just give them a penalty or give them one decision. We don't have a VAR in this league, so it's hard. Any decision can go.
The linesmen are always scared of the fans behind them.
They're always scared.
The coach can be protected. The referee,
we actually saw that play out last weekend now, didn't we?
Yeah, the linesman can be, the referee perhaps can be protected by the players on the pitch. The home-based players can at least rally around the referee and perhaps help him out. But the linesman would be attacked by fans. closer to because they are closer to the fans than
But
the
if
referee
you,
itself.
I like what Shooting Star did with their stadium. If you look at that, they had a barricade.
It was a high fence barricade. Yes,
had a barricade. That's what I think every stadium should adopt that.
So
before you can a fan can enter the field, you have to struggle with iron. So if you think about it, you don't even bother. They can probably go outside and go and make noise, but you will not invade the pitch.
I think that was after 2 sanctions, because there was a time they sanctioned. It was in 2020. They sanctioned them for France encroaching, and they felt like 5 million is just too much to pay. Instead of paying NFF or perhaps paying LMC that 5 million, let's use it to protect.
I think they should look at it. Even some stadiums in Europe, they do that because somehow they know their fans, they are violent, so they actually protect their fans from invading the pitch. So I think that every stadium, especially in Enugu, we should do that in Enugu Stadium.
Now talking about Shooting Stars, they are second. They are fourth on the table.
Now, they are fourth on the table for 6 points.
With that win, they will probably be closing the gap between them and Enyimba. No, I know it's still much, between about 7 points or so. They will probably be closing it.
They are 1 point behind.
No, before now they were maybe 5 points, and they won their last 2 games. So Enyimba played a draw.
Yeah.
Perhaps lost the last game and now Enyimba is drawing again. So
Enyimba is on 60 points.
So now they've
on 59 points.
So now they've closed the gap. Now they are 1 point, 2 points behind Enyimba, and you ask yourself, is there a chance for them to come third and perhaps not be in the playoffs, but be in the tournament proper for the competitions, CAF Competitions Cup?
It depends. You see, that it's not on their hands. It depends on the result of what Enyimba
will play
on Saturday. So if they lose or draw their game and they win, then they have a chance. Okay. Do you understand? So it's not, these things now. So some results are not on your hands again. You don't need other things to do you a favor for you to qualify. So it depends. But my focus is Rangers. Rangers just need to win their next game. They win their next game, they are champions. They win that. For me, if they win their next game, even though they are still, if they win their next game and Remo Stars win their next game, it's still 2 points. That means they need to get a draw. They need to even win the last game, because if you look at the goal difference in this league, Remo Stars has scored more.
No, the goal difference, Rangers have a better goal difference. I'm sure that was
okay. 2014, yes, 2014. So let's see what happens in the next MPFL game.
Now, talking about MPFL, Rangers will be playing. These organizers have reshuffled the day for Sunday. I think it was supposed to be next weekend, perhaps have a weekend of rest. But now they are saying no, they will play on the 15th and on the 16th. And Rangers will play on the 16th to Bendel Insurance. Abia Warriors will take on Aqua United, and Sporting Lagos will host Enyimba, and Shooting Stars will go away to Bayelsa United. And this is one thing that interests me the most. Remo Stars will travel to Sunshine Stars. And you ask yourself, what's the result going to be like on Saturday and Sunday?
It's going to be a tough one, man.
Because that's like the last game to the season, to the end of the season. So it's going to be tough for the two of them. And we're forgetting to say this, the NNL just concluded the playoffs, the Super 8 playoffs. Yes. And we had 4 qualifiers to the MPFL. We had 2. The other day we said something like 1 or 2 teams from Lagos will be qualifying for the NPFL next season. But perhaps Ikorodu United, a team that is just perhaps 3 years old, they played the NNO, they qualified to the NNL. Now they are playing the 3rd division to the 2nd division. Now they're playing in the MPFL next season after getting that result in the Super 8. And you ask yourself, what is the structure of this club? What did they come with? Are they coming with another style of fire? That just like we saw with Sporting Lagos. Are they coming with another Remo Stars? Are they coming with another style of fire to shock the MPFL?
For me, you have to give it to them, coming up the way they have from the NNO to the NNL and trying to push into the NPFL. You have to give it to them. Obviously, when you have fresh competition coming into the league, is like what we call it now, a mystery box, because you can't really tell what type of threat they are going to be going into the season. So everybody else has to be on guard. Remember a couple of seasons when little teams from the championship came into the Premier League and they were beating big teams for fun. So everybody needs to be on guard with these guys coming in. Obviously, we hope they have the financial side down, because it's going to require a whole lot of investment to stay in the MPFL after clinching that spot. So let's see how they're gonna play.
Can I be coming up in Premier League?
That was what you said. Because
they have been always super looking forward to that.
I was looking forward for them to qualify. probably Nasarawa United. But Air Kanemi, I am happy because when I was a kid, I used to hear Air Kanemi
Same here,
Warrior,
man.
Air Kanemi Warrior. So suddenly I stopped hearing about them. I think they fell off at some point, but they qualified. We are now looking at Nasarawa United, Ikorodu. That's the Lagos. So I think Lagos is going to be having about 3 teams.
No, just two. Sporting Lagos and Ikorodu City.
Ikorodu. So having 2 teams from one city is still nice. It's still okay. So
Would
we are
have been
looking
nice
forward
to
to
have
next
Inter
season.
Lagos too, though.
But this almost happened last season. But this last season in Enugu here, where we had one of the top teams in Enugu Division 2 trying to get into the MPFL, but they didn't, and they were given the best fair play team because they didn't get any yellow cards at all in the best discipline team. They didn't get any yellow cards in the tournament. I'm talking about Giant Brilliance of Enugu here. They've been fantastic so far, but this season they just went under.
They didn't actually
They went
make
under.
it.
Yeah.
So you ask yourself, what's happening to this team? Is it just one season? Is it a near Sussex syndrome that affects them, or
I
is it
think
just that?
there are a couple of things that happen. Okay, when you start playing that type of football, playing good football, playing in the second division, one of 2 things happens: either your star players get poached,
Yeah.
or funding gets pulled one way or another if you fail to meet the target. So any of these factors could have led to their, going the way they've gone. So
Okay, now this is Vote FM Sports here on Vote 104.3 FM. We're live on YouTube at Vote FM Sports. Yes, we're live on YouTube at Vote FM Sports. And we're also on Facebook at Vote 104.3 FM. We're live on YouTube. I'm begging you, if you're following us now on YouTube, do please subscribe. And you can call this number 0706 048 5853. 0706 048 5853 to say your congratulations to Nasarawa United, El Kanemi Warriors,
sure. And Ikorodu.
Ikorodu City FC, and Beyond Limit. These are the 4 teams that will be playing in the MPFL next season. But before we continue, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll talk about international friendlies and the Euros to be played. We're going to talk about the 24 players to look out for, breakout talents. I believe there are so many breakout talents for this Euro. So we'll talk about all of that, talk about the clubs that are in the transfer market looking for players to up their seasons. So let's go on this break. When we come back, we'll give you all of those gist.
Stay plugged into the flow. Follow Volt FM on Facebook at Volt 1043 FM. Let's vibe together.
Volt 104.3 FM.
Now, talking about the international scene, CAF is looking to postpone the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations, because of the Club World Cup. I don't know where this is coming from, but I feel like club football is not supposed to interfere with national football. It's a calendar fit and set for its own. The club football is what's it called? The Club World Cup is supposed to come up on December.
I think it's the expansion. The expansion, they did the expansion without consulting everybody. They needed to actually bring in everybody before they did this expansion. So I don't even know how they are going to do this, but they are trying to do it almost like a World Cup.
The domestic leagues are going to hold on for the moment, because you see the likes of Real Madrid saying, how would they be playing an extended league? How they be playing an extended league in the World Cup when even a single match at the La Liga ends them the money for winning the trophy of the FIFA Club.
These are the antics in this whole setup that needs to be looked at. How can you move an international competition because of a Club World Cup? That's not that shouldn't be. Now we are looking at moving it to December rather than having it happen in January. And for me, I don't think that should be nice. I think the expansion of the Club World Cup should move earlier towards the end of the season.
I think
or
the end of the
something
season. They are
like
going
that.
to do the end of the season, but what they are trying to do is now if you play African Cup of Nations, imagine your club, you are a club player, you are playing the whole season for your club. You go on January, you are now playing African Cup of Nations, you come back to your club, then you now have to play FIFA World Cup after the season.
Cup,
so it's a whole lot for a players to play. I think if the other format was nice, I didn't know what they wanted to expand it for.
Let's not forget that this Club World Cup competition was usually held in the December periods when
Clubs are on break.
yeah, Bundesliga on break. Obviously, the Premier League never goes on break.
No.
Apart for a couple of days.
That's just...
But so it's tough on players. You have to be in these competitions. You have to give your best in this competition, and the fixtures are getting more jam-packed.
That is jam-packed. If you are playing the FIFA club football before, it's just probably if you're a champion team, you play just 2 games.
You play in the semi-finals,
and just win and just
you're
go.
done,
Like it's usually 7 teams, or perhaps 6 teams from the continent, and 1 extra team from the host nation.
But the guys from Europe just play probably 2 games.
They come in at the semis and then they play the final.
So it's easier for them. But now they have expanded it. They are moving into the summer. They are going to play a whole tournament
I
like
think
a
they want
World
to
Cup.
move it now to January, and it's going to affect. Like that's what we are hearing now. It's going to affect the AFCON. And
because the AFCONs take place in January, and the Club World Cup takes place in December. But now it's like they want to do a switch with AFCON coming in, and Premier League clubs are not going to go for that because it's close to 4 weeks of football. You want to move into December just so that Club World Cup can take 2 weeks in January. It doesn't make sense for me if you ask me.
Okay, now talking about transfer windows now, enough of the Club World Cup. Talking about transfer windows now, Liverpool defender is been a target for Bayern Munich. I don't know what you say about this. This guy is not been on. He's not one of those players you call world class. He's just been present in the team. And you ask yourself, why is Bayern Munich looking to sign him?
Yeah, there must be something in there that Vincent Kompany has seen and likes. Just to get this point across the best way I can, obviously, there are certain players that you have in a squad side, you have in a team that are virtually sleepers until an exceptional manager comes along and brings out the best in them. We can call a laundry list of names in the Premier League. Players who have been virtually just getting by at a club, and the manager comes in and brings a new dimension out of their play style, a new dimension out of the player, and they go and you're like, is this not De Bruyne we've known all these years at Chelsea that was struggling to train? Is this not a Salah that nobody looked at? But these guys are doing fantastic football. So I think Joe Gomez, right from the time coming up through the academy, the way he's played at Liverpool, he has all the fundamentals inside him to be a top class defender. Now the issue is, can he maximize that potential at Bayern Munich?
He's not going to Bayern Munich. He's not going to reach Bayern Munich. He's going to stay at England. You know why? Because he's 27 years. And he's an important player for Liverpool. He might not be starting all the games.
Klopp is no longer there.
It does not matter.
He may not fit into Ancelot's plan for Liverpool.
The point is that what is the plan of Ancelot? Nobody knows.
Not seen for that for now.
Do you understand?
I believe he's a player that builds. He's a coach that builds up from the back as well.
You have to understand that nobody wants to lose Joe Gomez because he is a utility player. Yes. He can play right back, center half, and left back.
So why is also seeing.
So why would Liverpool let him go?
Vincent Kompany is seeing.
If Bayern Munich are looking to pay the right price.
Yeah, and you go there, you win the Bundesliga.
No matter how good you are, no matter how intelligent you are as a player, a coach will always want to bring his own style of players. And Slot will be looking at maybe 2 or 3 signings this summer.
Sure.
To at least give the players on ground those competitions that if you're not going to play for me, you should be out by January.
At best, he can look at maybe 1 season of a couple of games under Ancelot, and then the real plot will unfold. So why wait to let the plot unfold and you are at a disadvantage when you can make that move now to Bayern earn some couple big money over at Bayern, win a couple of titles, which obviously is sparring these days in the Liverpool side, and you move on. So for me, I think it's a good one. And he's going to bring another dimension. Talking about Bayern Munich now, look at the way they've suffered last season. A lot of their problems were down to the centre-backs they brought in, not merging, not building, and their defense. So for me, you have a Joe Gomez who can play in the centre-half. You have a Joe Gomez you can use up in the full-back position. You have a Joe Gomez who you can trust to play the DM up front. So it's a utility move. And that's what we're talking about.
Talking about Bayern Munich, they signed a player recently, Hitoro Ito.
That name is
it's a Japanese name, And since recent days now, you've been seeing top clubs going into Asia to hunt for top talent. This is after the likes of Park Jin-sung of Man United came up and showed the world that
I like this guy
Japanese are strong.
Hiroki Ito.
Hiroki Ito, yeah.
But he's going to Bayern Munich from. I think Bayern Munich has suffered.
And he's also going to be joining Kim Min-jae too.
Kim Min-jae is from. So their defense has suffered this season. I don't know what happened today. They had top 3 defenders there. They couldn't do anything with it. They had to even bring Tavis from Tottenham. Tottenham that did not play anything, that doesn't even play for Tottenham Hotspur. They have to bring him to help them with the defense. So I don't know what really went wrong with Bayern Munich, but they now have, if they are getting this guy, he has to play. So who sits on the bench?
You know, there's talks about Delight moving to Man United.
So that's the point.
And I keep asking myself now. I won't want to go to Man United. And I keep asking myself, if you wanted a player when he was giving his finest performance, and he said he doesn't want to come to the club at the time. Now he's old. He's at his prime. Maybe perhaps dropping.
He's 25.
Now you want to now sign him at that. I believe. I come for you at 22, and you're not signing for me at 30. I won't look your way because now you're looking to play for the big boys.
But if you look at it though,
like he's still 25, 26.
If you look at it though, I think if a lot of things could have been in place that made him turn down the move to Manchester United. Obviously, maybe he's had a change of heart. Maybe he wants to play in the Premier League. But whatever it is, he's still a top talent to have in any side. And could it be that maybe the German exploration has not gone the way he wanted it to go?
No, he went to Juventus first. Then from there, he went to Bayern Munich. And now he's been on the bench, dragging with positions with Kim Min-jae. And you ask yourself what's happening. Now, talking about defenders on the market, AC Milan are looking to sign Aston Villa's left back, or perhaps Aston Villa's right back, Matty Cash, that guy has hotted, I don't know how to put it, but he's hot so many attackers, he's destroyed so many legs. Would I say he's the next Gary Neville? Because there was a time they said something about Gary Neville not knowing how to play. And
you also have spats between a certain Patrick Vieira and Gary Neville in the tunnels because of his antics, kicking and all those stuff.
The spat was between him
like
and Roy Keane, not Gary Neville.
So if you look at Cash has done very well with Aston Villa. He's 26 years old. He's going to AC Milan. Is there a good move for me? No. I think he should stay with Aston Villa. Aston Villa are playing the Champions League football. I think everybody should. Every
bigger club than Aston Villa.
Bigger on what level?
AC Milan is the bigger club. A club with 5 Champions League.
You're talking about just history, man.
I'm talking about
history.
Now they won the Serie A just 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago.
Do you think that AC Milan has enough money to pay him more than they are paying Aston Villa?
How much are they paying him?
See, the AC Milan is trying to save money these days. They don't buy star players again.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a star player. They could still pay him more. Perhaps he's earning about 120, 150 in Aston Villa. AC Milan could pay him about 170, 200.
Why will you leave a team that are playing Champions League football? You are playing where all the cameras are on you. That's the English Premier League. To a league that is, I won't say that is dying, but they are dead.
Don't say that.
It's
the Serie A.
Nobody watches. Who watches Serie A these days?
For me, I think
if I tell you now to give me 10 players or top players in Serie A, you start doing
Don't call my name for that.
I'm saying top players, top that win. But when last time an Italian player won the Ballon d'Or?
Kaka.
When? 2007.
Before he moved to.
Right, 2007. 2007.
The worst part is when they win it, they move. So you won't keep that record of them. When they win it, you ask yourself.
But then you also have to get the point that the Serie A currently right now
you can't compare it with
the Premier League.
This is where you go and build your career.
Premier League, you have the La Liga, then you have the Serie A.
Now talking about La Liga, you mentioned La Liga. Another player from Aston Villa, the person we've been talking about for a long time now, Douglas Lewis. His agents just landed in Barcelona and they're in contact with Deco and Barcelona's director of football. This
is a good news for Douglas Lewis. What happens is that you have a club coming for the conversation for a player. Other clubs feel like they are missing out, and then they go and wake all your destiny helpers, and then maybe you get a miraculous move to a Barcelona. So I think they are keeping their options open to see the best fit, best opportunity, who wants him the most.
If he goes to Juventus, he will play.
Sure.
If he goes to play, he's going to be. But if he goes to Barcelona, That's where the problem is.
He definitely starts at Barcelona.
It's not about definitely.
It's not about starting.
It's not.
It's
What
not
is
about
definitely?
starting. Who do you look at the players you have ahead of him in the pecking order at Barcelona? He's obviously going to be coming in from the bench. You also have a manager in Hansi Flick who may not play him in his best position because you can't bench. Why are you going to bench now to play Douglas Luiz in that midfield?
Let's see.
He's played from defensive.
When De Jong comes back, he moves forward.
The last 10 games for Barcelona, Andres Christensen was playing as a defensive midfielder for Barcelona. Now, this is as a result of there is no current defensive midfielder at Barcelona, so he could come in that position. The young Gavi, Pedri don't have a competition with him because he is a defensive midfielder, not an attacking midfielder. Now, Gavi could come. Gavi and Pedri could share the spot.
The only way he starts in that midfield three. Let's not forget that they play a 4-3-3 formation. The only way he starts in that 4-3-3 formation is if they are playing an inverted V an inverted A, whereby he's sitting deep and you have 2 CMs in front of him. But the way they play with a flat 3 CMs and 3 utility players in that CM.
At some point, you have to drop deep to cover for the two.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't go together.
Barcelona don't start out matches with a DM and 2 CMs. They start out matches with.
What was Busquets doing?
You can't really peg Busquets as a DM, man. Come on.
You can't really call him that.
Okay, now the man that they took 2 weeks to review his season. The man they took 2 weeks to review his season is making demand. Is making a demand that he won't sign an extension, a contract extension, unless they meet 3 of his.
You know, this is why I love football because it's this ever effervescent dance between managers and the board and the people in upper management. Manchester United have had their fun. They've had 3 weeks to analyze, inspect all the nitty-gritty details, all the infinitesimal details in the club side. While they were doing this, Ten Hag was somewhere sweating, not knowing if he was going to be on the job or if he was going to be out of the job. While he was sweating, he lost the opportunity at Ajax. While he was sweating, he lost the potential opportunity at Bayern. And after assessing their options, they decided to keep him. Now it's Ten Hag's turn to flex. He has to come to the table with demands, and they have to meet that demand because the 2 opponents that were most, credible opponents that could knock him out of that job. Talking about the Thomas Tuchel that had a personal meeting with Sir Jim Ratcliffe while this man was still on the job. He's no longer on the table. Talking about the Mauricio Pochettino that they've been eyeing for a couple of, he's no longer on the table because he is going to take a sabbatical. So now Ten Hag has all the aces up his sleeves, and Manchester United have to meet him halfway in terms of it didn't happen the first time he came in. They didn't meet him halfway in terms of giving him the players he wanted to work with. And now
players on free and on loan.
Yes, and
bringing in the likes of Evans and Chris Eriksen and Amrabat on loan.
Because Ten Hag can walk out of Manchester United today and hold his chest high. He's won 2 trophies. He's had a terrible season with 65 injury cases, and he's taking Manchester United from fighting for.
I just like the way you are just supporting Ten Hag as if he paid you money. But you have to understand that the review was necessary. If you look at it now,
obviously the review was about 2 weeks.
Look at the kind of records you broke. You broke almost all the league trophies. Leave all those trophies that you won.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
After having a meeting with this man before the FA Cup final. And you're going into the FA Cup final, news rife in the media all over the world is that win or lose, you're out on the job.
Let me ask you a question. If you are running a company and you gave a task to your manager, to your general manager to do, he's not missing up the task. But somewhere he just do one miracle and just give you one contract.
Results.
But it's not what you plan out to the whole season. You have to review the manager's position. See, it's not about
obviously review.
So it's not, they didn't do anything wrong.
But
taking 2 weeks might be long. But
taking 2 weeks while meeting other suitors.
Why not? If you have a company, won't you be looking for a better option to manage your company?
Ten Hag is just giving them.
I don't know what happened in the studio. Whenever we talk about Ten Hag and Man United, The two of you are always fighting. The two of you are always fighting.
No,
But
he's supporting me. See, what I talk about football is progress. For me, for the past 2 seasons, I have not seen the progress. Whether you won 2 trophies or not, I have seen managers win trophies.
At least a season before this, you saw the progress, which is finishing third, which Manchester United haven't done in a long while since Alex Ferguson. Winning silverware
and went to 6 finals
and
in 2 years.
Okay, look at playing in Champions League football. You are finishing bottom of your table. Do you know what that means? With this kind of thing that you are playing,
who are the players you gave this man at the point of coming on? It matters because that is how you woo managers into jobs and into clubs.
John, they paid you for this promotion. They paid you. Somebody paid you for this promotion.
Now, I'll talk our very own Arsenal. Arsenal are not anywhere near valuation for Zexki. I don't know why that is because they've been looking at Zexki and Sesko. I don't know how.
Arsenal, if you look at Arsenal, personally, do they even need to bring in a striker?
If you want to win the Premier League title, you do, man.
Yes, you do.
That's what it is.
You know, Manchester City won those titles without a striker for almost 5 years. They did it until they brought in Haaland. They won the Champions League. I think they brought in Haaland.
We had Aguero in this side. What are you talking about?
Talking about winning the Premier League. Let's talk about this very good guy now, Dominic Solanke. Dominic, he's been looked at by Chelsea because they felt like the striker they have at the time is not giving them results that they want. So they want to bring in.
They have only Jackson. I think
you know the thing for me, when you look at clubs and the players they look out for or they look at, it gives you an idea behind who is behind in the recruitment. Okay, how do you have a plethora of stars out there in the attacking position? And you're telling me that the sharpest tool in the toolbox is a Dominic Solanke? Look at his stats, man.
Who do you want to
look at his stats?
But he did well with Dortmund.
This is Chelsea FC we are talking about. We're talking about a Didier Drogba. We are talking about Andriy Shevchenko. We are talking about big name strikers. We are talking about Fernando Torres. We are talking about, come on.
Where was Drogba?
We are even talking about we are even talking about a certain Olivier Giroud at 30 something doing still in that side.
Costa and the rest of them.
Yeah. So
where was Drogba signed from? When Mourinho brought in Drogba, he was playing for a smaller team. You don't know who Drogba is.
He was playing for Marseille.
He was playing for Marseille, who was not in the top 4 in France.
Let's not forget that this is Dominic Solanke, who's been in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. Baba Bani has not touched 15 goals in a season.
But he's got 15 goals.
Bani he has not touched 15 goals. How many of them were penalties?
It does not matter.
No, he doesn't score penalties.
How many of them were penalties?
He's not Cole Palmer.
How many of them were tapping?
He's not Cole Palmer. He's not Cole Palmer that scores penalty and is rated ahead of Bruno Fernandes. He's not Cole Palmer.
You only take clubs seriously when you look at the ambition, and who you go after speaks towards your ambition. It speaks towards your. For example, now Arsenal going after a Sesko is a good move because he's a phenomenal striker. And we are going to see his prowess in the Euros in a couple of days. He's also a top talent to look out for in the Euros, giving you a stealer right here now. Then you look out for this other guy. There's a certain Jonathan David who is doing well in League On. You have Joshua Zexi. You have Victor Osimhen for crying out loud.
Do you know the problem that because he's watching Dortmund every season. You don't watch these players play. When you watch Dortmund play, so you like it because if you watch other players play, you can criticize them.
Yes.
But if I'm saying that these guys scored 17 goals with Dortmund, check it now.
Now look at you're talking Zeski now, who for some reasons has a fantastic season with Bologna, but you ask yourself, is it not due to the coach's response at him, giving him that firepower to go on?
Talent is also part of it, bro.
No, it doesn't. It depends on the coach ability to help you grow. Now we have some comments on YouTube. Playing okay, Chris says playing around. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Volt FM Good morning. Crew. FInidi is still not ready to handle such a massive job. Talking about this guy is Emmanuel Okikitiki. Not.
I think the job is too much for him.
I don't know. I feel like this is now mounting pressure. Now let's talk about that game against Benin Republic. two national anthems that even the Benin Republic side had to play, and they came up with the idea of the band playing the wrong anthem. Now they were confused from the start. It tells against their game, and you ask yourself what has happened so far. You understand? Now talking about the next moment, our team and our national team for now lack that winning mentality. That's coming from Chizoba. Our national team lacks mentality, winning mentality, which is what do you have to say about that, John?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The mentality has to be on point for me. It should be winning at all costs, basically.
It should be winning at all costs. See, whether they are playing well, in fact, they use Ojoro. They use Ojoro and win the next game.
No, okay, talking about mentality. Now, still talking about Douglas Luiz and Barcelona. Okiki Emmanuel says Douglas Luiz is a sure starter in Barcelona. He will gladly sit in front of the defense in Barcelona. And this is a player you've missed out. This is a player that, without Gavi, you see Gavi put his life in on the line. But yeah, I think
Luis
player
is
now for me, this only works if you're playing a 4-4-2 diamond. That's what, if they are going to now adjust, make that the formation a bit fluid to suit.
Because of one player, they will change their formation.
That's what I'm saying. Because this is
now it's still Emmanuel talking. He said something about Arsenal's game. Now he said they didn't lose the trophy or they didn't lose the league because of the lack of a striker. They scored a lot of goals and was only outstanding by City at the end. I was only outscored by City at the end of the season.
That's what I'm saying now. That's what I'm saying now. City are a credible threat, and we are going to be there for you guys next season. So for you to stop a 5 in a row, you gotta up your game.
So I think that's where Ten Hag comes into the conversation.
Who's Ten Hag?
Ten Hag.
Yeah, Ten Hag comes in
because
he gets 3 or more signings. You know, when they say signings, you get a midfielder, you get a striker that could compete. You know, one thing about City is you look at the bench. I said this when my Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was at Man United. You look at Man United bench and you're like, who is there to change the game? You have Donny van der Beek and the rest of the players are academic.
There was a certain Ronaldo, and we know what happened. But I'm just
that
my business.
was last season. Okay, keep minding your business. Now, this season, or perhaps last season, you had the likes of Sabitzer, who went back to Dortmund. And he didn't get that chance to play because he had the likes of Fred starting games for Man United. You ask yourself, this season now, you look at Man United bench, who is there on the bench that could change the game for you?
For me, I don't see anybody on the bench who could change the game for you, unless you have the likes of Mino and Aganacho on the bench, and you have more star players coming in the summer to play up front for that team. So Manchester United need to refresh the squad.
They need to buy. Just buy. They need another striker, probably one winger, one midfielder, and 2 defenders. So they need about 7 players. In fact, they need 11
the defense
players.
has been decimated. They need to get in 2 signings into the centre back.
Okay, now talking about transfer. West Ham United are looking to sign Wolverhampton Wanderers Max Kilman. You know, the guy who's been fantastic for playing for midfield, playing in opposition, and they're also looking to sign 2 of their. It seems they want to just take 4 players from the Wolverhampton Park and bring to West Ham United.
They want to kill Wolves.
Looking at Cunha of the midfield, the forward Cunha and Nuri. These are the 2 players that would also want to join the list of West Ham United signing from Wolverhampton Wanderers. And you ask yourself, which of these players would fit into the West Ham style?
For me, if you ask me, looking at the way Matthias Cunha, are they going to deploy him in the wings? Because he's not a striker I see playing up center. Okay, so if they are going to deploy him down the wings, then he's coming in to strengthen that power in that area. But who do West Ham have up front? They need a striker. Okay, Skamaka left. Skamaka wasn't replaced, and you need that striker up front. Now they have a phenomenal talent. When we talk about Mohamed Kudus, we have a couple of other players within the side there that are doing well.
Anthony is there. Antonio, their striker.
Come on now, if you're talking about world-rated strikers,
don't call Antonio, man.
Now we have one more comment here on YouTube. It says, no matter the formation they play, now John, this is you that says he won't play at Barca. No matter the formation they play at Barcelona, Douglas Luiz will start peacefully it's because Douglas Lewis, Gundogan, and any other player could join in the midfield, no matter the formation. These are players that could rotate themselves.
Yeah, but when you're talking about this now, that means you're going to be sitting the likes of Pedro and Gavri out of the starting 11.
Gavi is just 19,
which
21.
is not.
They could
Forget about his
Gavi.
age. Forget about his age.
Okay.
Gavi, when he comes back, will play.
We play. That's the thing.
Gundogan will play.
And that's three already. So
fit in.
It doesn't matter. You have to have depth.
If you look at it,
when Brahim Diaz, let's talk about Real Madrid a little bit now. When Brahim Diaz came back from loan spells at AC Milan, at Roma, and everywhere he went to, he came back to Real Madrid. Where was he playing? This was a player you saw at AC Milan, shining, giving numbers, scoring goals.
He came from the bench.
He came back to Real Madrid and was playing from the bench. This was a player he said he will start.
No, he will not start.
He came in from the bench. Who is he going to bench to start?
Was also playing in attack. But for some reason,
Valverde came in from the bench. So Douglas Lewis is not getting an all expense paid VIP trip into that starting 11. He should better come back down to reality.
I don't know how I say this, but I believe when you look at the Real Madrid side, you have Valverde who was playing from the bench last season. They were coming in from the bench last season. This season they were starters. Valverde didn't drop to the bench this season at all. And yet
there has been transition in that midfield.
It was still in the same midfield.
Yes,
you had the likes of when they signed Jude Bellingham and you said, where is Jude Bellingham going to play? It wasn't the same midfield Jude was playing. It wasn't the same midfield Camavinga was playing.
Well, look at what you're missing.
This is what you ask
look
yourself.
at what you're
This
missing.
is what you ask yourself, John.
Real Madrid do not play with three midfielders. They don't play with three midfielders. Now, let me just would I say bust a bubble in that side now. You have what you call a fluid formation, and at every step of the game, those two men up front are falling back into the midfield. So they play a 4-2-3-1 formation. Okay, so forget about the 4-3-3 you see up there. That's what happens when the game kicks off. So that's what I'm saying. You have more spaces in the midfield for midfielders to play. At Barcelona, it just has to be that three-man in the midfield.
I think
which is why I'm thinking
to the wings. But he played that even with Spain.
Pedri even play from the flanks.
So they have to see. They need depth too. All this we are talking about, we're not talking about who is starting or who is not starting.
They still need depth. He will play.
Even if he does not start, he will play every game. That's for sure. They have to introduce him at some point in the game. But I don't know if he's going to start or not. So.
Well, I think that will be our time now because I believe the lineup for transfer windows, if Man United could get two signings in, they could hunt for the trophy. Perhaps a second striker and one defender.
Which trophy are we talking about?
And you know that this Heroes is an opportunity for coaches to look at young talents.
Talking about that, the Heroes is starting tomorrow, and we will be looking out for 24 star talents from tomorrow's game. We'll be looking at top players you'll be looking out for tomorrow's game. And we'll go with our own list of 24 top talents, and we will be scouting the Heroes from here at Vote FM Sports here on Vote 104.3 FM. It's been a good time in the studio with you guys. I believe for some reasons you guys are just angry at Man United and at Ten Hag, but it is what it is. It is a good time with you guys. We hope to see you tomorrow again. I'm Nonso, and this is where I call it a day. Bye for now.
Welcome to Vote 104.3 FM, where music meets the voltage.
Sports.
Alex Iwobi gets the ball out to the left-hand side. The delivery comes in. Oh, it's a goal!
Entertainment.
You don't need to raise feather, just say it in the camera.
News and